Design, Ugly by Design. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out Ugly by Design, how British supermarkets shame you into spending more. I think all supermarkets do this, but let's see.
Quick challenge. Look at these cans of baked beans. Same contents, same size, but can you guess which one is the value brand?
The one that says value on it? Although the one on the left is Asda. Which one would I buy? I'd probably buy the Heinz. Yeah, okay. Yeah, be sure to go to Girl Gone London and like and subscribe.
Baked beans. Same contents, same size, but can you guess which one is the value brand? Now here's the twist, because you already know. Even if the labels were blurred, you'd probably still guess right. Because UK supermarkets have spent decades designing it that way. Walk into any Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Asda, any supermarket you want and head for the staple section. Things like pasta, rice, beans, or tinned tomatoes, or tomatoes if you're British. And you'll find something pretty interesting baked right into the packaging. There's a hierarchy, a silent system of class and status baked right into it. At eye level, you've got the branded goods. That's where the Heinz goes. You've got labels with warm reds, glossy greens, things that say like authentic, sun ripened, Tuscan ready. Now look just below that and you'll see the supermarket's own premium range. This is like Tesco's finest, and Sainsbury's taste the difference. You've got elegant blacks, navy blues, gold foil fonts. There's a story on the back about a farm that's probably not even true. And then lower down, maybe even literally on the bottom shelf, there's the value line. Now the colors shift, so you have bright yellow, hospital white, traffic light red. The fonts get plain and blocky and kind of aggressive, like it's a warning. There's no food styling, no fancy adjectives, just baked beans or chopped tomatoes.
It's probably what I would buy.
And here's the important part. This isn't just about saving money or ink. Designers call it visual signposting, a way to make sure that even from across the aisle, you know what's cheap, what's middle class, and what's posh.
Oh, okay. Y'all be sure to go to Girl Gone London and like and subscribe. I'm hoping she'll give me some tips of some British products I've not tried. I'm drinking Ribena right now. The last Girl Gone London video I reacted to, she talks about blackcurrant. I never had it, I don't think. And I got some Ribena to try. And now I'm addicted. And I'm almost out. There's like that much left in the big bottle. It's $16 a bottle though. I don't know. That's a lot. I usually get the brand of whatever the store I'm at is, because I feel like if there's something wrong with it, I can go back to the store and be like, you sold me some contaminated crap, right? This sucks. Not that I've ever done that, but I like the option.
But beneath that is a deeper strategy. Not designed to inform you, but designed to make you feel something. And that something is shame, because shame means you'll buy the more expensive items, the ones with the bigger profit margins for the store. Let's rewind to the early 1990s, a time of changing consumer habits and increasing price sensitivity in the UK. Supermarkets were locked into a fierce price war. Tesco, Sainsbury's, and Asda were all trying to outdo each other with lower prices, better loyalty schemes, and more expensive product lines. In this environment, a new concept emerges: value ranges. The idea was simple. For shoppers who just needed the basics, cheap and functional, there'd be a no-frills line of food and household goods. Tesco launched Tesco Value in 1993. Asda...
That does look super basic. But I like how it all has the same look. You know what I mean? I would buy all that just to have the collection of, like, consistent looks.
Followed with Asda Smart Price, Sainsbury's was known as Sainsbury's Basics, and Morrison's followed later with M Savers. But what stood out about these ranges wasn't just the low price point, it was the packaging. Tesco Value, for example, used white backgrounds with blue and red stripes, the exact same color scheme as a generic government document. Product names were written in a basic sans serif font. There's no imagery, no description, just cornflakes, kind of like rations. And this was intentional. Designers behind these ranges said that the point wasn't just to strip back abstract design to save money. It was to actually design something to create a visual language of frugality. These products needed to look basic, plain, almost institutional because they're meant to appeal to shoppers who weren't choosing to buy the cheaper option. They were almost forced into it. You weren't meant to be proud of your money saving on your 19-piece spaghetti hoops. You were meant to feel grateful that they existed at all. These products use design elements like plain fonts with no personality or emotion, very minimal color palette, often choosing to use colors associated with warnings or caution.
Oh, no, I prefer the generic. I prefer that, right? I feel like, I feel like if I were to buy the one that had all the cool photos and crazy colors, that it would have more processed stuff in it, more like preservatives and sugars and things. And this super simple stuff is gonna be, I don't know, not have all that stuff, but I bet it does have all this. I don't know. I interpreted it differently.
Often choosing to use colors associated with warnings or caution. Then again, you've got the generic labeling and no branding or mascots. These are all there to communicate utilitarianism, not pleasure. In design terms, this strategy is known as aesthetic distancing. Use of intentionally unattractive or sterile visuals to create separation from more desirable products. And it worked. At least for a while. Fast forward a few years, and these visual strategies became ingrained in supermarket culture. If you ask consumers today what they associate with the old Tesco value packaging, you'll hear words like poor, depressing, or shameful. Research actually supports this. A 2012 study published by the Journal of Retailing and Consumer Services found that customers reported negative self-perception when putting value range items in their basket.
Is that still the case, though? I don't feel shame whenever I buy that stuff. I feel like I'm being smart. If you go to Trader Joe's, everything is Trader Joe's. You don't have a choice of not getting the store brand. I wonder if that's why I'm okay with, what's this? The end of the generic grocery store brand. This is an article by The Atlantic. They're no longer terrible. In fact, they're often the draw. That's what I'm thinking. April 20th, 2025. Yeah. Maybe it's just because the economy's going crazier. Inflation was high, economic growth was stagnant, and food prices were soaring. It was the 1970s and everyone needed to eat to stay alive, but no one had any money. So a few enterprising grocery stores had an idea. They began purchasing their own food straight from the manufacturer, putting it in ostensibly no-frills packaging, and selling it for significantly less than the name brand stuff. The products were called generics, and if out-of-control costs were the problem, they were the solution. Okay, that was in the 70s, but back then, it was not good. The peas were starchy, the corn was bland. They were not awful, but they weren't that good. 50 years later, inflation is high, economic growth is stagnant, food prices are soaring, and Americans are once again turning to store brand goods. In 2024, sales grew 3.9%. I've been doing it for longer than that. I've been buying that stuff since the Great Recession. How long ago was that? Oh my God, was that 17 years ago? Oh my God, was it really? It was 17 years ago. I feel old. Okay. Well, I guess I have to have a subscription to read the rest of this article, but we know what it's saying. The 6 best foods to buy generic. Let's see what they say. Canned beans. Example, cereal, lactose-free milk, yogurt, pasta, frozen fruits and vegetables. The bottom line. While the savings between a name brand product and its generic counterpart may seem minimal, choosing the latter can help reduce your weekly grocery bill. Blah, 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 blah. I feel like there's more accountability, too. That's the comfort I get from it with the generic brands or the store brands. Because in the grocery store, there's so many options sometimes that this like non-store brand that's on the top of the shelf, I don't know how to get in contact with them. I'd rather go to the store and say, hey, this is poison.
Even if the product's quality was fine, the packaging signaled low status, and people felt judged both by others and themselves. And it's not just the packaging, it's where the products live in the store. Basic items are almost always placed on the bottom shelf, what's called the dead zone in retail marketing. Eye-level shelves are the most valuable real estate, obviously. They're reserved for products with higher margin, usually branded goods or premium own label ranges. The reason is simple, because most people scan shelves horizontally at around their shoulder height. Placing low-margin products on the bottom means fewer people will see or even consider them.
Yeah, there's something about being close to the floor, too. It's dirty.
It's like hiding them in plain sight. In fact, a 2016 study found that by simply moving a product from the bottom shelf to eye level, it increased the sales by over 25%, regardless of the branding. Visibility drives decisions. Then came a twist in this story. All the way from Germany. Aldi and Lidl entered the UK market not just with low prices, but with a different kind of design philosophy. Their own brand products were cheap, yes, but they didn't look cheap. They looked normal, sometimes even premium. Their packaging mimicked the big brands in color, font, and even layout. Their frozen pizzas looked like branded ones. Their cereals came in bright, cheerful boxes with friendly mascots. Their wine bottles had corks and fake heritage on the labels. They understood something crucial. You can sell cheap food without making people feel cheap. And British shoppers responded. By 2024, Aldi and Lidl had captured over 17% of the UK grocery market. Their success forced the Big Four to reconsider how they treated budget-conscious customers. Now, Tesco retired the Tesco value brand in 2016, replacing it with a softer-looking, everyday value.
Great.
And later with brands like Stockwell & Co.
That
and
looks
Hardy
good.
Food Co., designed to sound more like traditional, wholesome suppliers.
Yeah, okay. So is she saying that what is she okay? I think this video is going okay. I haven't even said a whole sentence since I stopped the video, but I think she's leaning towards where that Atlantic article was headed. That it's no longer shameful to buy that stuff.
Asda launched Just Essentials in bright yellow, which is controversial still in the design, but undeniably more visible and less institutional than its Smart Price predecessor.
Yeah, yellow is the color of urine. Maybe make it green. The color of vomit.
And then came the cost of living crisis. By late 2022, UK food inflation was climbing above 16%, with some staples rising even higher. Pasta up 25%, milk up 35%, eggs up 28%. Food banks were overwhelmed, and a new kind of customer entered the budget aisle. Not just low-income families, but middle-class households squeezed by energy bills and stagnant wages. And the supermarkets responded, not with a marketing blitz, but with something simpler. Toning down the design judgment. New product lines dropped the harsh fonts and clinical colors. They were still cheap, but now they carried softer language, like simple, hearty, or essential. No longer value, because value had become code for bare minimum. The shame in shopping was slowly being dialed down. For example, take a look at Sainsbury's own brand, called Stamford Street Co.
I'd buy
From
that.
natural yogurt to cheese to kitchen towel, this is just Sainsbury's value brand.
Okay.
But the design doesn't make shoppers feel quite as bad about what they can or cannot afford. In fact, the design can look quite nice. The other day, I walked into the kitchen to find some Sainsbury's own brand baked beans that my husband bought, and before I realized they were the value brand, I thought, oh, he sprung for the branded baked beans. Nope, just a more upscale design. But they're not doing it for your benefit. They're doing it for their own pocketbooks.
Yeah, you know, the new approach of these grocery stores makes that original approach of making it super simple and shaming you about buying it, that makes it seem stupid. Like, why would you want people to buy it, right? You want to sell more. So why even have it if people don't want it, right? I guess they made higher profit margins on the other stuff, the name brand stuff, but like the store could be competing with them. They're wising up.
Just a more upscale design. But they're not doing it for your benefit. They're doing it for their own pocketbooks, as any company would, and I wouldn't be surprised if the ugliest and more plain designs came back during economically prosperous times when they think people do have the money in their accounts to spend a bit more. And from a pure market...
Oh, so when the economy's good, they'll dumb down the design. When it's not good, they'll spruce it up. Okay.
marketing perspective, you can't fault them. It's pretty genius. It's easy
Yeah,
to sit
it
here
is.
and be morally outraged at the fact that it's some people's jobs to manipulate you into spending more, but that's what happens with any company trying to make a profit.
Yeah, that's like good for them, right? I can't fault them for that. That's what they should be doing for their shareholders. Right.
They want you to buy the products with the larger margins. But as a consumer, that doesn't mean you have to fall for it. Compare prices, regardless of what the design looks like, and do your own taste tests before deciding that the value brand isn't as good. Just because something has a nicer design doesn't mean that it's actually any better. Often it's probably made in the same place, so be savvy when you shop. Now that brings me to the end.
Y'all, maybe I overkill it, but I look at the ingredients. I'm just a hippie that way, I guess. I'm okay with some preservatives and some crap in there that I don't know what it is, but the less, the better, right? The less, the better. And if I have to pay a little more to have less of that crap in there, I will. I will. Because this is my body we're talking about. It's my temple. It's my rent-a-car this time through. You get one meat bag in this life. And then you leave this life and you maybe come back and get another meat bag, but this is the only meat bag you get this time around. Death. Okay.
Better. Often it's probably made in the same place, so be savvy when you shop. And that brings me to the end of this video. As always, thanks very much for watching. Leave your comments below and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kaylin. Y'all be sure to go to Girl Gone London and like and subscribe. I was hoping she'd turn me on to some more products like Rabina, but these are brands I cannot get in America. I ordered some Jaffa cakes. They'll be here in like 2 weeks. I also ordered some, what's it called? It's like Vegemite. What is that stuff called? What's that stuff called? Marmite. I ordered some. It'll be here sometime between August 23rd and September 19th. My Jaffa cakes will be here between August 13th and August 22nd, at least a week away. Okay, so to sum it up, when the economy's good, they'll shame you into buying the store brands because their profit margins are higher on the name brands. But when the economy's bad, they'll spruce up the store brands to get that middle class buying the cheaper stuff because they're used to buying the labels, the pretty labels. Okay, clever marketing. I find it very interesting. Y'all be proud to buy generic. You're helping yourself. Again, I like it because if this pasta sucks, you can go back to the store and say, this pasta sucks. You made this pasta and it sucks. Way to go, Tesco. Thanks, Whole Foods, Jeff Bezos, who can't get me Jaffa cakes for a month after I order it. Is it literally on a boat? Like a sailboat? Come on, Jeff. Come on. Anyway, well, y'all, I'd like to say thanks to my patrons. Thank you, Kaylin, for making this fascinating video. Thanks to my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.